We're gonna in 15 minutes. We're gonna do a hot, quick, fresh take about the Acolyte, Star Wars, the Acolyte. I've got the two Star Boys themselves. We have Darth and Rybold in the house. I'm pressing start. Now I wanna come out and say this just at the very top. Me and Rye really didn't like this at all.
We did not. No, we did not.
I
And
mean,
I loved it.
yeah,
I loved everything about it.
Darth was like, this is my catnip, boys. How can you not like it? That's the perfect Star Wars. Okay, I mean, first of all, I just want to be really, really clear about something, which is the reason I didn't like it is I think it just looks like all of the worst instincts about Star Wars that I'm not interested in. It's Jedi. It's like it's going for this sort of like it's almost like Seven Samurai but not interesting or gritty. It's clearly like it's gonna I'm worried this is gonna turn into like an origin story and it'll be like this is the first ever Sith or something. Like it's giving that energy, right? It's like the anti-Andor is my feeling anyway.
Darth, why do you like this?
It's pretty much like the exact opposite of everything that he just said. Like everything that he said that he dislikes about Star Wars is the reason that I love Star Wars. So like as much as I enjoyed Andor because it was a good quality and all that, it didn't have Jedi, and so I was also very disinterested in it from that perspective because like Maul and the Jedi are what got me into Star Wars, and if it doesn't have lightsabers, then it's almost not even Star Wars to me. So and then on top of that, they've never gone as far with the Force as I had always wanted them to because I love over the top, flashy, gimmicky Force stuff. That's why I love watching fan films because they do a whole lot of that kind of stuff in fan films. And this looks like I would have just been given a couple $1,000,000 and been like, hey, do whatever flashy crap you want and have all the lightsabers you want and have stuff blow up and just do whatever.
Oh my god!
And I love everything of.
Now that you said fan stuff out loud, I can't not see it. That
Yep.
oh my god, this trailer is just a fan. This show is a fan film.
Yep. Yeah.
So I got.
It's. I can't believe that you've said that. I'm never gonna be able to unhear that.
So he actually perfectly timed that comment because I had three immediate thoughts on this. One of them came just when he said the fan thing, which was that comment coincided with like the lightsaber charge that looks a lot like Attack of the Clones, but it also reminded me of the first time I went back to college after I graduated for like homecoming or whatever. And my friend and I are both very drunk, and we get some sandwiches from like the local sandwich shop and nostalgia and everything. We go down to like the place where you go on campus to eat it, and there was a lightsaber battle happening. And
What do you mean by that?
there was about 200 people with like the toy lightsabers. This was at night, so it looked as cool as nerdy as that is could be, I guess.
I don't
but
know
my friend like my friend
looked
looked at me and my friend looked at me and went, "What happened to our school?" But like, I mean, this is a school full of nerds anyway. But like, that was what I was thinking. Like, I did not like that shot. But that leads to my second thing, which is the general look of this, which I had said looked campy as all get out, and just immediately gave me flashbacks to Star Trek Voyager. Like that's what this looks like to me.
It is such a good
like,
pull.
campiness quality.
Yeah, tone. Yeah, it's like all of the things about it. It's all of the tonal inspirations that like that are would be that big bombast in the 80s, right? Like it feels to me a little bit just visually like how everyone imagined all of 80s science fantasy would look on film, but like there's a reason why we didn't.
That right there.
There's a reason.
Right there.
Yeah, it's like there's a reason why we didn't do that, and we went and Star Wars looks different, right? Like it. I don't know. Yeah, it's fascinating. I think the other thing that I mean, the thing I'm most interested in, like candidly, is I think it's an interesting era in the universe itself, right? I'm not confident that Star Wars recently has had good hit rates with making content about Jedi and the Force, right? Like, I don't think that's something that they are doing. They haven't, to be honest, since Disney came into the picture, that's something they've really struggled with because they don't seem to have any. Nothing feels like it's an immediate story that demands to be told about that part of the universe. I think the most interesting stuff has been the extant material or the material next to that, right? If you think about Mando and the things about that show that we all find the most interesting, it's not the Darksaber and the war between the Mandalorians and the Jedi, even though it should be. Like, that's my favorite stuff in Clone Wars and Rebels, is like that side of it, and yet it's just not interesting in live action. I don't, and I think maybe it's because like in the animation you get so much more latitude with the expressionism of what you can do, and the scale of the bombast can be so big and feel grand and feel dangerous in a way that like the way that they're something about the way that they're executing the kind of live action stuff about the Force and the Jedi just doesn't work for me. Where it does in the cartoons, perhaps in a way that is similar to why Darth is excited.
Well, another reason Darth was excited, and I read his comment in our little group chat before actually watching the trailer, but he had me, he had my curiosity, and then he had my attention with the comment about Kung Fu plus Star Wars, and I was like, yes, I am there for that. I felt Donnie Yen was tragically underused in Rogue One. I would have liked to seen a lot more of him in the Star Wars universe. Unfortunately, only got the one outing, but yeah, Darth, if you want to expand on that.
Kung Fu stuff has always been a huge interest of mine. I've done my only actual training has been Taekwondo, but I love it enough that I've done martial arts training. I love watching Aikido stuff. All the different martial arts I'm totally into, and Kung Fu is like one of the flashiest ones. Love Kung Fu movies, even when you have to read the text at the bottom, which so many Americans complain about. Um, but the fact that there are fan films that have done this before where they combine like kung fu fighting styles with lightsabers. If either of you are into that, I've got fan films I could send you because they do it brilliantly.
He's like I got a
Yes.
Well,
playlist.
what do you think we're looking at right now?
Um, yeah. So they've, I mean, it may just be like one or two characters that have that type of style. Um, I don't know if they're intentionally like casting Carrie in that role and then having her pull in some of her training that she did like from the Matrix.
You'd have to
I don't know.
imagine so, right? Like
Yeah, it seems too intentional with like what is on screen like right now. Like that is
she
it's
was doing like
just
one hand fight. She's literally doing
yeah.
like one hand fighting, which is like from the Matrix, like that. Like it's
Yeah,
that era,
which
right?
also makes me think like they are so Disney is so consistently trying to do stuff that are like, this will bring the fans back. And so they're like, "Oh, they like the Matrix. They'll probably like her in this if we do the same sort of stuff." So that's kind of the vibes that it's giving me. Even though I'm still excited, I'm also like they're obviously
Well,
pandering.
well, I mean, to be fair, if you told me what you just said, I'd be like, yes, I would like to see that.
Yeah. And the problem is then I see it and I go, oh,
Well, well,
maybe not.
I had it watching this trailer again. It occurs to me one of the things that really I don't like about this trailer is that uh, I was very interested in this show as this is a completely new time period for us. We have never been here.
Not
This
in
is
canon,
two
anyway.
Yeah, this is 200 years. Well, not yeah, not on not on film. This is 200 years BBY, I think. Um, and the height of the old republic, etc.,
That's
or high republic.
Knights of the Old Republic
Yeah,
timeline, right?
and yeah, and it's also like a bad guy POV, which we don't really get a lot of. But then what disappoints me about this trailer is there is not that much of the Acolyte. It's this right here, the younglings, and then the other Jedi and the guy from Squid Games in here, and what's her name, who's who we just talked about. Like, there's a lot more Jedi than Acolyte, and I would have been fine if like the Jedi weren't in this at all, if it was just the Sith. Um, but it doesn't look to me based on what we're seeing that we're going to get that original of a story. If that makes sense.
That's probably another reason that y'all are hating this trailer so much, is because it's not giving a firm foundation for what the story will actually be. It's just a bunch of flashy stuff that's going to catch the attention of someone like me, but it's not actually getting you excited about the show, because it's not telling you what the show is about in a way that is meaningful.
That's
Yeah.
extremely true. I was thinking about the music, the way that what they're trying to do, or the feeling I felt that they were trying to evoke was the same one that I got from the Chernobyl trailer, which was the best, like to me, the best TV series trailer that's ever been. Go watch that if you haven't. It's fantastic. And it really sets up the tension of what you're supposed to be feeling about that, of what's going to be happening. But like this, I'm just like, something's coming, and I'm like, I guess, but what? I
It
don't know.
just has that, like, it has that generic, like, epic vibe to it. It doesn't really tell you the actual tone of what like, because I think really good trailers get you interested in some of the key concepts and themes, and they set the tone, but they don't convey what the narrative itself is, other than a vague gesture at it, right? But if you didn't
Mhm.
know that this, um if you hadn't read, or you weren't in the zeitgeist and you watch this trailer, I don't know that it hits that, right. Like, I think it's reaching for it. I don't think it gets there. I think, y'all were kind of saying, it's a few really flashy kind of, like, okay, we know these shots are relatively finished, let's put them in, and they're action shots, and they're going to be exciting. I think I would have much preferred, a much slower, more meditative, like, tone setting. Like, show me exactly what you said, Rye, which is like, show me the Acolyte character, show me, like, because if you were gonna tell a story about, from the perspective of the Sith, if that was what you were gonna do, which it seems like this isn't that, one of the things I would want it to be is like a bit more slow and meditative, right? In the same way that Andor can be at times, where it's like, it's really, entire episodes are just slow burns thinking about what it's like being someone in this universe. Give me that. Like, even at his best, right? I think that Anakin in the prequel trilogy really hits those notes really well, where it's sort of these quiet brooding scenes where, he's just really struggling with this thing. And if that's what this show is about, which is like this internal struggle with this, the concept of the nature of, like, good and evil, like, like, give me that feeling. Give me that it's that, like, okay, well, this show isn't that. It's a wushu kung fu show. Well, now I'm not interested, because, I guess, but that's not as exciting to me as the other possibility, which is really, shots like that where it's slower, and it's taking its time. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in the
Well,
Jedi side of it. Like,
all right,
I
two
think
minute
another
running
thing
up on final thoughts here.
I think something we might be seeing is that Disney doesn't believe in the actual premise of the thing, because they're showing the Jedi, they're showing the safe stuff that will get people excited, and they might be thinking, hey, the general audience is not going to be into this just let's look at this one bad guy's journey.
that's a really good point. And I should say too, like, the people that cut trailers are not the people that make the shows, right? Unless
Yeah.
you're Tony Gilroy and you have that kind of creative control, or you're Vince Gilligan or someone like that. So it's entirely possible that the show is the thing that we just talked about to a large extent. Um, but
Well, two,
you know,
two things I would say, with that in mind
better say
is
it
the first
quickly.
one. Yeah, if you didn't know that this show was, if you didn't have this splash scene at the end, the title or whatever you call that, would you know that the Acolyte is the protagonist? I mean, well, that's the second thing. Is the Acolyte the protagonist of this show? I
Or
don't
is
even know
it? I
anymore.
don't know. Or
The
is it Carrie
the
Ann
second
Moss?
thing is this trailer has really lowered my expectations for this show. So I very much hope that the first two episodes really blow my hair back.
Nowhere to go
Because
but up.
yeah,
The expectations on the floor, baby.
yeah. So yeah,
That's a
that's
good
it for
point.
me.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to see the time period. I want to agree with that. And I hope that the show is different than what the trailer is implying. Um, Darth, 30 seconds. Final thoughts. Go.
I am here for it. I am so hyped, and y'all are not going to bring me down.
I
Good.
You know I can
That'll
ruin
make the
anything.
discussion. That'll make the discussion 10 times more interesting.
Yeah, when we when we do coverage of this, it's gonna be you being like, this thing's really cool, and just me sitting in the corner like snidely sniping at you, being like, yeah, you fucking would think that, you fucking loser. Like, I just become the bully of our friendship group.
Darth will be like, I liked it. I'll be like, I hated it, and Dave will just pour another drink.
Yeah, you're like, well, I hated you. Oh god, the beep is so loud on that timer. You guys can't hear it, but that like blew my eardrums off. Well, that's 15
But
minutes.
hey, we did it.
We did it. Trailer reaction. Content. YouTube. You're welcome. I'm literally just going to upload this as is. So I apologize for the fluctuating audio. I fixed it about 5 minutes in. But hey, what are you going to do? That's Star Wars Acolyte. That's a live reaction from David and the Star Boys, which still sounds like a band. Okay, we'll be back. We'll talk about this more when it comes out, I assume, because I think we'll have some thoughts. We might do something similar to what we did with Mando and do some like kind of weekly coverage. We'll see what happens.